I've been doing water therapy. And
Ooh.
I haven't been, I don't want to cry, but I've been so happy. Like,
oh, half the human.
Half the human.
Half the human.
Half the human.
Yes. I'm Sarai.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lorena.
I'm Mia. And this is Half the Human.
Yay!
First episode. So, what was everyone's initial thoughts when reading the book? When you first opened to page 1, what was going through your head?
I was wondering why there were so many chapters on such a small book.
I think I was really curious to kind of see why the title said what it said, like the things I need my adult children to know. I was like,
I think the initial sentence where he talks about his, 300 some weight going to 178 pounds was an initial shock, and it kind of gives him a little bit of legitimacy, and you're credibility, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe I should listen to what this guy is saying.
Yeah. I think the title was definitely very compelling. I was very interested. I wasn't sure if it was biased toward any particular demographic, but I think opening it up and just reading what the name of the chapters were was very helpful, because then you can see that it's actually just like a life coaching book. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think initially you can think that it's probably going to be something mainly emotional, because it's a father writing a book to his son or to his children, looking back on his life in a way. And I think once you see, the multiple chapters and how many there are in different topics, you kind of learn that it's a lot more like real topics that you can put into place in your real life. Chapter 2 goes into sleep, and that's, getting started right away with something that is real that you can implement tonight.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And like as college students, I feel like sleep is a big thing. Like we struggle with that a lot. Like I know I've made some not wise choices about my sleep schedule, so it really helps to kind of hear his perspective.
And I think the introduction lays a lot of foundational ideas that are very important when you go through reading the book. He talks about how the little things that you need to start implementing early on are what is going to set the foundation for the rest of your life, and making it so that you don't need to go on the journey that he had to go through. One that is very hard and very treacherous, and he's, kind of laying these out for his children so that they can start these little tasks now, and, hopefully set them up for the rest of their life in terms of health and wellness.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely much easier to start and develop habits and just consistently go through them, doing one small thing every single day, rather than thinking you have to make this drastic change in your life and having to do these really hard things and just start them immediately, which is also why a lot of people fail, because they just try and implement everything at once, and then it just doesn't end up working out for them.
Right.
I think the introduction really emphasizes the key of consistency, and that, it's a lot easier to make those small and consistent steps early on than, to be faced with this big mountain you have to overcome in the end.
Yeah,
I agree. I think the big thing that you said that stood out to me, I have it written down, is like the smallest shifts make a big impact, and we have to remember that. It's like you may not see the results right away, but if you're persistent, you certainly can. Like something that I recently went to my physical, and I gained 50 pounds in 1 year, and my doctor told me this is what you have to do, and within the year I lost 12 pounds. I'm still overweight, but like once I saw on the computer of my weight difference, it really showed me how much small changes in your life make a difference.
And it's a great point to be talked about that. Kelly also goes over this, and I think it's really important to talk about that you need to be going on that journey for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. And you're going on that journey because your doctor told you that you're, unhealthy in a certain sense. And I think that trying to fix that because you truly do want to have a better life, a more well life, rather than, focusing on little aspects of your appearance, that's why you really need to find that introspective part of it, because you won't succeed in the journey if you're going about it for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. You would just be taking a pill, and you would just be, trying to put a Band-Aid over something that's a real raw wound that, needs something more like stitches. So.
Yeah, oh my God, I love that metaphor. That's like, oh my God, where'd that come from? That's crazy. No, I agree. Overall, in general, though, I do think it's very important, like he said, to, like all of you said, take small steps, because I don't know about you guys, I'm pretty lazy. I don't getting up in the morning, going to the gym, like, it's so, like, tedious. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be here. But, like, it does work. Like, for me personally, at least, like, it has helped me kind of become more fit, more athletic, a little bit. You know. It's getting better, I want to say.
I was never athletic growing up, period. I'm just not coordinated.
Me too.
And so I was never really that involved in sports.
Mm-hmm.
But I started going to the gym every single morning, like maybe 2 years ago. And it's gotten to, and of course in the beginning it's very hard to get yourself to go.
4 a.m. or no?
I'm an 8 a.m.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Sarah,
Oh, yeah,
Sarah,
That's my vibe, yeah.
really?
When I'm at home over the summer, I wake up at like 5 and I go to the gym.
I respect that so much.
I'm a very like type A,
Yeah.
very detail oriented, very strict schedule kind of person, and I think that going to the gym is just, I base my whole day around going to the gym, and that has definitely helped me. I go to the gym, I go home, I have a good breakfast, and then I like get on with the rest of my day. Then it's like once I'm done, and then you don't have to worry about it again.
And you've read other books too, similar. I remember you said like other
Yeah.
health related books.
Yeah, I'm really interested in like health, wellness, fitness. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I journal a lot. I read a lot. I really try and just educate myself as much as I can, just because this is something I'm very interested in. And like the human body as a whole, it's like so interesting because it's something that directly affects every single person. It's like these are things that you definitely need to know about because they have such an impact on you.
Yeah, I think when I started going to the gym, I loved the feeling I got, like the serotonin that it produced afterwards, like the high you're on after you get done cardio or something like that. But for the first couple of months, I wasn't seeing much progress. And then I started getting into the ins and outs of like protein intake because, you know, especially with muscle growth and muscle maintenance, you're not going to, you know, grow or maintain muscle without proper protein intake. So that became something I was super interested in. And also just the science of lifting, because at first I was not comfortable with lifting, squatting, touching. I was scared of the weight racks. I was scared of like the bulky men like grunting over there. But once I got comfortable with it, I thought, you know, this is something that really like, once I started lifting in a way that, you know, was efficient, and then I did cardio afterwards and I ate the right way, I saw good results, and that pushes you to get, you know, to get further. And now I'm kind of to the point where I feel bad about myself when I don't go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's definitely a hard aspect of that, but I feel like it's trying to find a balance.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel so much better when I get it out of the way.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. Oh my gosh. Because, yeah, I'm not very consistent with it. So hearing that from you guys, like, I respect that.
Once you maintain that consistency, I think it becomes something that, like, your day kind of feels off if you don't have it in it. And that's when it becomes easier to have it every single day.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he says, too. Like, what he's talking about, like, putting in small steps is, like, consistency, right? Like, you do a little bit every single day, so you don't have to do a lot, like, drastically.
Yeah. I think also just for me, being an athlete my whole life has, like, really impacted me because I love working out. I love doing anything fitness related. I love going to practice. I was always a kid who would go to practice an hour early just to, like, stretch and warm up and just to get prepared. And I think that just transitioning from being an athlete into going to the gym and lifting for, like, lifestyle and just for health is definitely a big change and a big shock because you're not just throwing a ball around or doing that. But it definitely is something that everyone needs to learn, and it's definitely a transition, even if it's someone who doesn't work out and then you start going to the gym versus someone who does work out, but it's a different type of working out and moving your body, and then it's like a change for everyone.
Yeah, because it's so much different to be someone who's always been athletic and always been involved in sports, and then, you know, I feel like it's not an easy transition, but it's a natural transition sometimes because it's like, where else am I going to put my energy and my time? And then it's also a different end of the spectrum to not, you know, really engage in physical fitness like whatsoever, and then now, you know, it's like one of the best parts of your life. It's like, it's different paths, but they kind of end up the same place, and I feel like it, I don't know, it's better for my mental health, it's better for every aspect of me, so.
I've been doing water therapy, and like, I haven't been, I don't want to cry, but I've been so happy, like.
Oh. Do you do it with the water therapist, or is it kind of like?
I was doing water therapy with the physical therapist, and then eventually I transitioned to do the wellness program. So now I'm doing the wellness program with like people different, like older generations, and like just the wisdom that they have, like similar age to Kelly Hoggan. And it just is very inspiring.
I also think that's part of it in the book. Like one of the most beautiful parts is that you're hearing it from someone who has lived it in every single aspect. Like he's been on the spectrum, you know, of a heavier person who needed to get into this kind of stuff, and now he's been so far, and he's on the end of someone who knows so much about these topics, so he's able to give you a perspective from when he was in this spot and when he's in this spot and the changes and what you need to do and how to get there. So I think that's a really cool thing to know too.
I can't help but think how hard it must have been, every single day, just being disciplined and keeping to, looking at the goal that you're chasing. And I respect that a lot. It's really cool, and it's really rare in today's world.
I know when I, first bought the book, I was really hoping, because I feel like I know a decent amount about nutrition and weightlifting, but I definitely wanted to hear his financial opinions, because that's something I'm very curious to know about, but know not much about.
Yeah.
Also supplements, because
Yes.
I've heard from a lot of doctors that, you shouldn't be taking things that you don't need to take, because your body should be able to produce it on your own. But of course, supplements help if you have a lack of that. So I feel like learning about that would be something I'd be super interested in. So I was excited to get to that point in the book.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
For me in general, just looking through the table of contents, it's so interesting how he categorizes these things in body, mind, soul, and then talks about other things in general as well. And there's a whole section on lessons for his children, which it's looking at the titles itself is this is really interesting and really important to know as coming from someone who's experienced so much. So I feel I'm really excited to get to that part.
Yeah, I feel like you can't read that chapter and not find it touching, at least in some way.
Yeah.
It's a chapter full of things he wishes
know.
his kids would keep in mind.
I think definitely I really, as Sarai said, I'm very interested in nutrition, and I think just hearing his take on nutrition, when reading it, it was definitely a lot of things that I knew about already, but I also think there were things that I learned and just reinforced in myself, because maybe I've learned it in the past but forgot about it, or just haven't been implementing it in my life. I think so far, chapter 14 was my favorite, talking about blood work, because for me personally, last year I found out that I have high cholesterol, but it's a hereditary thing, and it's just, you need to keep watching that. And I think that the blood work was also very insightful to understand how my body's been functioning with what I've been doing and what's working and what's not, and just actually that's what tells you what works and what doesn't. And I am planning on starting to do more consistent blood work.
I think everyone hates getting blood work done, and you always hear that it's good, and then every time I bring an issue up with my doctor, say something's been bothering me or I think something's wrong, blood work's always the first step, and I feel like so many people are quick to put it to the side because no one wants to get blood work done. But you hear that it's important, and obviously it's important because it's the first thing your doctor does a lot of times. But I think him reinforcing it definitely helps it, stick in your brain. And hearing why it's important beyond just that you need to check for something being wrong is really effective. So
Yeah, and I think using it as a metric is really important. Like Lorena was saying, when you hear about your weight versus just looking at how you feel, you can see differences whether you feel them or not. And I think I've definitely learned about how it's important to have metrics and just consistently track them and not think too much into them, but just consistently track certain metrics, and over time you will see changes. And I think that blood work is a good metric because it's a good baseline to just see where you are, where you start, and then where you go, because it's not a thing you do every month, it's something you do every couple of months.
The health hacks, I would like to know that. I'm a nurse, so I don't know everything, but it will be very interesting to hear things that are non-conventional, especially during, the times that we're in with the taxes going up, and just trying to find things that are affordable. So
I didn't know you were a nurse. How has that kind of background given you a different perspective on this?
I think my initial, I had to be very honest, I was a little bit hesitant with the book, because sometimes people on TikTok, people will preach and say take this, take that, and sometimes it can be risky because people can develop liver failure, kidney issues because there's sometimes with supplements they're not really regulated. So, but what I really like about how Alec and his dad Kelly wrote in the book is that just this is not advice. It's just talk to your doctor. Just having that disclaimer is really important.
Yeah.
Mia here. I started coughing and had to go, but that's it for this episode.
Half the human.
Half the human.
Half
Half the human.
Half the human.
Yes.